Hey guys, it's Anthony Romrell, and in this video we're going to be talking about NavMesh and NavMesh agents. So let's get started. We're going to go to Window. It's not installed, so we'll go here to Window, and we will go to our Package Manager. And you're going to scroll until you see something called AI Navigation. And if you don't see it, you're going to want to search with your filters. You're going to want to go to the Unity registry. Okay, so navigation, we're going to hit this install button, and it'll get navigation up and running for us. Might take just a second to get it all to work. Okay, great. And says it's installed. So then we'll go to Window, AI, Navigation. And let's just plop this next to the inspector. Plop is maybe not the best word, but there we can see our navigation. And we're going to build something to navigate on, right? So we're going to come here and we're going to go and say create 3D object, and we're going to create a plane. And you'll see that this isn't exactly what we want here, but we're just going to call this nav. And you can see we don't see it in the window at all. So that might be a little confusing. So there's a big flat plane, right? And how this is going to work is this is going to be a navigation area. So we're going to, with this plane selected, I called this nav. I'm going to go to add component. We're going to type in NAV. And what we want is a NavMesh surface, okay? And you're not going to see any change unless you go to navigation. And you're not going to see a change there. We'll scroll on down and we're going to hit this bake button. Great. Now with navigation open and the bake button set, we should be able to see this little plane. And that little blue plane is the area at which an AI agent is going to interact with us. Okay, now there's a couple ways we can handle AIs. So we're going to first go with scale and just scale this down a little bit. Actually, we'll just do it with our numbers in our inspector. So let's say scale in Z is going to be something like 0.1, right? And maybe a little bit bigger, 0.2. And this will just make an AI that can walk across maybe the base of this platform right here. So we'll put this down to the base of that platform. Okay. And we're going to rebake this because it's too big. And that's just going to give us this little thin sliver of a line. Okay. And that'll be an acceptable piece right there. Okay. So let's just make it so that this is going to go all the way across the top of this green area, and we'll manipulate the scale a little bit this way. So maybe this is going to be scaled to like a 1.2, right? And we'll have to rebake it. That's probably too big, so let's go with 1.1. Okay, and we'll bake that again. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to put a little character on here that could walk back and forth. So we're going to go to our enemies here, and I'm just going to go to mushroom. You know what? Let's have a mushroom come after us. So I'm going to go to idle, and I'm just going to find one little sprite and drag this here. And remember, our scale has to be at 5. Okay, so there's our mushroom character. And then what we're going to do is just going to set this to the side. And this is not going to have any kind of physics operations. Instead of what this needs, I'm going to rename this idle to mushroom. Okay, and I'm going to add component. And NavMesh is still there because I have NAV typed. And I'm going to put NavMesh agent. Excellent. And we're going to make the agent pretty small. So we're just going to scroll until we see this radius, and it's a pretty small radius already. I'm going to put this radius down to 0.1, maybe a little smaller, maybe 0.05. Okay, I'll hit F to zoom in, right? And it's a little low. I'm going to make sure that's at the bottom of its feet. And then we're going to hit Command play or push the play button. Control play, Control P. And what should happen is that little agent's now going to stick to that platform. Now it's not going to move. I'm going to turn my music off for just a minute, just my audio source. And because it's probably going to be louder than my speaking. So I'm going to push play again, and you can see that that little mushroom jumps down on that little navigation area. Now it's not going to do anything yet because we need to add a script. And the script that we're going to use, there's several scripts, but the script we're going to use in this video, we'll find it in here. It's under Tools, AI. And if you go into here, you're going to see several scripts. There's Advanced and Simple. Feel free to play with any of these. But the one I'm going to demo in this is the AI behavior script, right? I'm just going to drag this agent behavior script. I'm going to drag it onto this mushroom. And then we're going to give this a couple changes. So angular speed, we're going to change to 0 because we don't want this to rotate at all. We'll work on flipping this character, maybe later. But for now, this thing's just going to walk back and forth. It's not going to face us, right? We're not going to worry about flipping or anything like that. It just gets a little complicated. Now you see, we need a player asset to go there. So we're going to take our little player character that we have. I'm having just a moment to look for the character, and there's the character, right? And I'm going to drag that character. We'll click back on the mushroom. I'm going to drag that character back into that slot of player for that agent behavior, and we're going to push play. And what's going to happen is this mushroom, it's going to start walking towards us, right? And it's going to essentially follow us around. Now, it's also going to walk through and ignore physics, right? And walk right into us. So we need one more component to add to our character because this character does not obey physics at all. So we're going to go back to our character, our first one, okay? And we're going to add to it a NavMesh obstacle. You can see that's probably a little too big. So we'll just make a few adjustments right to this NavMesh obstacle. Right now it's shaped as a box. That'll be fine. And we're going to change its size just a little bit. So maybe 0.8. Maybe we'll make them just a little taller. Maybe 1.2. And the z-axis, it doesn't really matter. We'll just leave it at 1. Maybe we'll lower it a bit. It doesn't necessarily matter, but we could lower it a bit if we wanted to. Now what will happen is this little guy's going to walk right up to our character. And we can push him around now, right? He's not going to give us any damage. We'll need to do some triggering events to do some of that, which you guys already know how to do in previous videos. And the expectation is you're gonna build one of these agents. You're gonna animate it. You're gonna have it do something to you based on all the code you've learned before. But that's how NavMesh agents work. Okay, so now let's take this nav and we're going to do something else with it. We're just going to take this exact same nav since it's already done and hit Command D, and we're going to call this, we're just going to call this nav side. And we are going to take our z-axis and turn this into maybe back to a scale of 1. Maybe that's too big, maybe a 0.5. Okay, and we're going to hit the E key and rotate this 90 degrees, okay? And put it up. And let's put this in the sky, maybe like that, right? And we're going to rebuild this by baking, and this is going to be a sideways character. Okay, now we're going to have to do just a little bit of work on this one to get it right. So we're going to create an empty object. Okay, and we're going to put it close to this navigation area, but not too close, right? And we're going to add a component of NavMesh agent, and this is going to be too big, and it's going to be facing the wrong way. If we hit P, you can see this thing's going to jump sideways, right? So there it is, sideways. So we're going to scale this down quite a bit. And we're also going to start by rotating it 90 degrees. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is just change its height and radius. So the radius is going to be 0.1. Let's do 0.2. And its height is going to be like 0.1, right? So really pretty small. We'll hit zoom to F to zoom in. Now we're going to add a piece of artwork to it as a separate object. So we're going to say, we're going to go to, this is what we'll do. We're going to go to our Pixel Adventure 2. We're going to find our bat. And we'll just go to any of the phases here of the bat. Maybe flying. This is a good one. And you're going to want to animate this too. You'll use other videos to reference to do that. So we're just going to take this bat, drag it to this game object. This game object we're going to rename bat agent. In fact, we should name our mushroom agent. And we'll name this bat art. Okay. And we're going to take this bat agent. We're going to zero him out. We'll hit F to frame that so we can see it. Okay. And we're going to rotate this 90 degrees because this is going to jump 90 degrees, right? And then we're going to have it follow us. So same thing, we're going to add that other script that we did earlier. So that is going to be the agent behavior. And we're going to drag our player to it. And this should behave like the mushroom, right? We're not seeing it. Let's hit F just because we got to do a little test. That bat's just not turned the right way. And that's because we have to turn off our angular speed to 0. Okay. Let's hit play again. And we're not seeing our agent again. Okay, so we're going to go back to that. Oh, you know what? It's because I put my agent on the artwork, so I'm going to remove that component. I'm going to remove the agent behavior. My mistake. Remove the agent from the bat and go back to the bat agent and add that agent behavior and associate that. Little mistake, but I'll keep it so that you can see it. And we'll push play. And now we should be able to see that bat flying around. There it is. That's a little bat. And you know what? It's too small because that bat art needs to have a scale of 5. Right? And one more thing. We don't want to see this mesh. So we're going to go to this mesh renderer and turn it off. In fact, we're going to also turn off this other mesh renderer. We don't want to see it at all. We just want it. We just need it, right? For other purposes. Let's push play again, and we should have a bat flying around the scene, right? And there he goes. He's coming after us now. It's also aiming towards us, right? So then that's because we have got to go back. We made it again. So this angular speed is 0. So it's not going to rotate. So there we have 2 enemies, one that's flying around and one that's running on the ground, right? Pretty cool stuff, eh? So that is NavMesh and NavMesh Agent.